So let's see. Please go vote in the poll as well. I'm still undecided between my triple captain. Will I use it on Rice or Gabriel? Leaning towards Rice because of the differential appeal of going Rice instead of Gabriel, but still a bit undecided. Orange Apple, thanks for joining in. Hey bro, I'm commenting whilst over Canada on my flight. Nice. Make sure to lock in your team. You might actually lose connection while in air, at least that's from my experience. It's kind of good being able to attending a live stream while over Canada on a flight. That's pretty impressive. It's actually been a couple of years since I've been out flying these days, so technology is probably a bit better. I think probably Starlink is used by a lot of air companies. Yukesh edits, hey mate, I got Raya, Richards, Cash, Senesi, and Gabriel triple captain, Rogers, Bruno Fernandes, Enzo, Krupi, Allen, and Joao Pedro. The bench is Sanchez, Wilson, Mukiele, and Soboslai. I've got 2 free transfers. Any thoughts? So let's see. Raya in goal. I would definitely start him with the double. Gabriel is in triple captain. So you only have 2 Arsenal players at the moment. Might be a good idea looking at the possibilities to bring in an extra Arsenal player in this team. Up front, Krupi Jr., Hallen, Joe Pedro. We'll definitely keep Bruno Fernandes, and so Rogers, solid option as well. Maybe considering something like Harry Wilson to Rice if you can afford it, and bench Krupi. Wi-Fi is a bit dodgy, so you may not hear from me much. Thanks for joining in, though. Really, really appreciated. It's 1 hour and 44 minutes until the deadline. We're at Cooley. Thanks for joining in. Salam, are you using your triple captain? Yes, I'm actually using my triple captain this game week. At the moment, it's Rice being given the honor of this part of the season's triple captain. Saliba to Thiaw, no triple captain. Probably Thiaw to Saliba, right? Would not sell Saliba ahead of double game week 26. But Thiaw to Saliba, if you can afford to upgrade, I think this is a really good move. I will most probably just save a transfer unless we get any late team news this evening. I have 2 free transfers, 0.1 in the bank, but I'm actually pretty satisfied with my team. I have the triple up on Arsenal, double defense with Gabriel Timber, Rice, triple captain in midfield. Mosquera is in for the double for Wolves as well. I'm not really expecting much from Wolves and Mosquera against Arsenal, but hopefully they can do something against Nottingham Forest. Rogers to a Liverpool player. I will consider something along those lines in a couple of game weeks. I will probably just keep Rogers this game week. I'm also using my triple captain, but can you try convince me which game week is better to use it? Game week 26 now, or in game week 33, or game week 36? Things that I'm not really a big fan of triple captaining someone in double game week 36. The thing is that it might actually not be a double game week, and if we get double fixtures in game week 36, the season might be wrapped up at this point, so we might see more rotation. Players might be a bit on the beach, as we say, because there's nothing to play for, and some teams, if Man City gets a double in game week 36, they might actually prioritize competitions like the FA Cup and Champions League and stuff like that, especially if there's nothing to play for in the league. So this is the reason why I'm leaning towards using my triple captain this game week. Who to triple captain? I think triple captaining one of the nailed on Arsenal guys makes sense. So Gabriel, he will most probably be the most triple captain player this season. He's really, really popular. I think his effective ownership will be well above 150% in double game week 26. My triple captain is actually active on Rice at the moment. It's a bit more differential. Playing, of course, in midfield on set pieces for Arsenal. Can pick up defensive contributions. So I think Rice is a good punt. So I'm leaning towards Rice. It's currently on Rice. I have Thiago on the bench and starting Elliot Anderson. So I said this yesterday on the Q&A as well. I have two decisions to make. Triple captain Rice, triple captain Gabriel, or the next question for me is to start Elliot Anderson or Igor Thiago. At the moment, I'm leaning towards triple captaining Rice and starting Elliot Anderson. Great question, Football and Stuff. Thanks for joining in, Football and Stuff, the Brighton expert. How many points do you think Gabriel, triple captain, will get? I think with the triple captaincy, the thing is that when it comes to triple captaining a defender like Gabriel in double game week 26, it's kind of safe because of all of the routes he has to points. I think that attacking return for Gabriel would be immense for Gabriel triple captainers, but I think this is a bonus. I'm not really expecting Gabriel to deliver any attacking returns. Can't really see him pick up defensive contributions against Wolves. Might be a clean sheet, so 6 points against Wolves, and he might concede against Brentford. So this is like close to being the worst case for Gabriel triple captainers. So conceding a goal against Brentford, so 2 appearance points. He can pick up defensive contributions in this game. So it's 4 points against Brentford, 6 points against Wolves. So I don't really see Gabriel picking up defensive contribution points against Wolves. This will be a bit more quiet game for the Arsenal defenders. So at least 4 points against Brentford, 6 points against Wolves. So that's 10 points, and the triple captaincy will make it obviously 30 points. I think this is okay, but this is like a really worst case kind of prediction for Gabriel triple captainers. Jeff Jones, thanks for joining in. Irish Pete Terrier, how are you? How many points are you on in total this season? Let me just check real quick. So my rank at this point is 640k, and I've got 1,425 points. So Jeff, I have 5 free transfers and don't know what to do. Ooh, you should probably use one of those transfers, because if you don't make any transfers, one of them will go to waste. So it will probably be a way to improve your team a bit. So if you're interested, head over to X, post a picture of your team selection, and we'll get it up on the screen, or you can just write your team in the chat as well. Hamid Khan, Jared Bowen, Richards, or James Hill, bench 1. So I would probably just start Jared Bowen, nailed on and on penalties for West Ham. So it's between Richards and Hill for me. Richards home game against Burnley. Probably you should start Richards. Hill away against Everton. I think I probably will bench Hill. You going Rice? Rice? Yes, I'm going Rice. I'm Irish Peter. I'm leaning towards triple captaining Rice this game week. The poll has Gabriel as their favorite, 73% for Gabriel, only 9. That's not that many votes for Rice. While 18% have voted for save the triple captain for later. Why Rice over Gabriel for captain? I think both of them I think both of them are really good options. The reason why I'm leaning towards Rice at this point is the fact that he is more of a differential. So hopefully he can outscore Gabriel. The thing is that he's on set pieces, taking corners and free kicks. So hopefully this, in one of those game weeks, he can get an attacking return. If Gabriel scores, there's 50% chance that Rice has the assist as well. So I can't bring myself to captain a defender. I usually don't captain defenders, but in a double game week for Arsenal, playing both fixtures away, Arsenal, we looked at this yesterday as well. Arsenal, they are actually even better when we consider clean sheet potential compared to Arsenal at home. So I definitely think it makes sense to triple captain Gabriel this game week, but I think Rice is equally good, and he will have less ownership, so leaning towards Rice. Hope Rice scores a hat-trick then. I'm really hoping for at least one attacking return. He can of course pick up defensive contribution points. He will get 1 extra point for clean sheets as well. Triple captain Gabriel for me. I said this a couple of times, it definitely makes sense to triple captain Gabriel this game week, so not a bad option at all. Maybe I'm really excited to see Gabriel's effective ownership, to be honest. So let's have a look at a couple of teams. So if you're interested in having your team reviewed, head over to X. Post a picture under this post. It's taking some time to refresh. So I think you probably have posted on the wrong, in the wrong place. Let's see, check notifications. Not really sure what's going on with X. It's taking some time to refresh it. So here we go, Ethan. Let's have a look at your team. It's 5 free transfers, 0.1. What to do with this team? So it's 5 Free transfers. Was there any news on Van Hecke? The latest news on Van Hecke is that he picked up a hamstring injury. So yesterday, Football and Stuff actually said that he probably will be fine for game week 26. Same goes for Welbeck. So let's have a look. That's me. Yeah. 5 free transfers, 0.1 in the bank. So Raya is in, Gabriel, Rice, so we triple up on Arsenal. Maguire, Senesi, Guahi, and Rodon. Semenyo, Bruno Fernandes, Rogers, Wilson, Holland, Ekitiki. So with this team, you probably have Mark Guiu on the bench most game weeks. This means that most game weeks he will play 4 at the back or potentially play Wilson against Man City. So something to consider is, of course, to get rid of Harry Wilson. I would have been tempted to do something like Maguire downgrade. But you already have Rodon as well. Wilson. My thought was actually to try to sell Wilson to bring in Sar. That could have been an option, but with only 1.1. I think Rogers is fine this game week. Can potentially do something with Rogers in a couple of game weeks, but he scored in game week 25. Decent home fixture against Brighton this game week as well. So I think that he is a keep. Rice, Bruno Fernandes, Semenyo in midfield. But at that price point, with only 0.1 in the bank, Harry Wilson, best replacements. I would be tempted by maybe something like Harry Wilson downgrade and upgrade Guahi to Munoz, possibly. The thing is that your team is in pretty good shape, to be honest. Not that many players I would like to get rid of in this team. And the fact that you actually have 5 free transfers, you're in a really good position at this point. So to improve this team, if you want to play 2 up front, I think that having Mark Guiu is probably just fine. Only priced at 4.2, so freeing up funds for other players. Harry Wilson. So what you can do is potentially to do something like Mark Guiu to Krupi Jr. and downgrade Wilson as well. At least if you're going to bench boost soon, I'd much rather have Krupi Jr. and Elliot Anderson instead of Wilson and Mark Guiu. So that's probably an upgrade. I think Guehi is fine. Rodon on the bench is fine as well. Senesi, good fixtures for Bournemouth. Gabriel, he should be included. Maguire, not a big fan of the Man United defense, so he is potentially someone to consider downgrading as well. So maybe something I mentioned with Wilson and Mark Guiu to Elliot Anderson and Krupi Jr., or potentially just use one of your free transfers to sell Maguire and bring in someone like Hill. Really good fixtures. You can double up on the Bournemouth defense. Hill only priced at 3.9, so this would free up 0.4 for future transfers. Welbeck will 100% start. Van Hecke 50-50. Nice. Start Joachim Andersen against Man City or take a hit. It kind of depends on who you'll bring in. So are you selling Andersen? Who will be the replacement? One hour, 26 minutes until the deadline. I'm not really stressed ahead of this deadline. Not really considering any transfers. I think my team is good enough for double game week 26. I have a really strong option on the bench in Igor Thiago. Van de Ven playing against Newcastle, not the best option, of course. Hopefully, I will not need him. I have Van Hecke 50-50 if he will start or not, but I haven't really considered starting Van Hecke this game week. So Mosquera, Gabriel, Timber, all of them with double fixtures, they will definitely start. So Sanchez in goal against Leeds, Enzo Fernandez, Rogers, Bruno, and Elliot Anderson. Triple captain on Rice, Erling Haaland, and Jared Bowen up front. I'm still not 100% sure I will start Elliot Anderson. I might start Thiago. I'm really close to locking in the Rice triple captain, but I'm tempted by Gabriel as well. Stelios, hi mate, would you bench Shalaba or Elliot Anderson? I think I probably would start Elliot Anderson this game week. He has a lot of routes to points. Of course, Shalba can keep the clean sheet. Chelsea playing at home, but at home against Wolves for Elliot Anderson, at least you will get 4 points and you can get attacking returns as well. So I think this would probably be a good game week to start Elliot Anderson. This is the reason why I'm actually considering to bench Igor Thiago for Elliot Anderson. So I would have to say Anderson. Claudius, hi, I have 5 blanks in game week 31. What do you think about a wildcard in game week 31, a bench boost in game week 32, triple captain Haaland in game week 33, and then free hit in game week 34? This is very much dependent on the fixtures, but I also hopefully will have 4 to 5 transfers to navigate later. So what it looks like at the moment, we will have a blank in game week 31. Arsenal and Wolves, they are already confirmed to blank in blank game week 31. Man City and Crystal Palace, they will most probably blank as well, unless Man City get knocked out of the Champions League. So game week 31 looks like a blank for Arsenal, Wolves, Man City, and Crystal Palace. Bench boost in game week 32. At this point, it looks like game week 32 will be a normal game week. I will get some more graphics on the screen. Game week 32 looks likely to be a normal game week. Game week 33 looks to be the biggest game week, double game week so far this season. And this is why I'm leaning towards playing my wildcard in game week 32 and bench boost in game week 33. Bench boosting in game week 32, of course, might be a good game week for a bench boost, but I think game week 33 will be better. I like the triple captaincy on Erling Haaland in game week 33 better than triple captaining in game week 36. I've said this a couple of times. I think that the double game week in game week 36 will be a small one. It might not even happen. The thing is that the league, this is really late in the season, so the league might already be wrapped up. I think that probably the most important thing is that you mentioned that you will have 4 to 5 transfers. I think that the most important thing is actually to just pick a chip strategy and have a plan so you don't like waste your precious transfers. So if you decide on the chip strategy that you mentioned with Wildcard in game week 31, bench boost, game week 32, triple captain, game week 33, and then a free hit in game week 34. So if you decide on this, I think it looks solid on paper, then you can use your free transfers to navigate those game weeks. So you know but that when you use your wildcard in game week 31, you don't really have to use transfers to take out Crystal Palace, Arsenal, and Man City players, right? So you can use your transfers on other things. Leeds look strong. I also think Elliot Anderson. I think this probably is a really good fixture for Elliot Anderson playing against Wolves this game week. I don't expect my bench boost to really have so many double game week players. So if you're bench boosting in game week 32, this looks likely to be a normal game week. So no doubles in game week 32. The reason why there will be no doubles in game week 32 is the fact that, as you can see in the graphics, there are European midweek games between game week 32 and game week 33. So no time to reschedule that many fixtures between game week 32 and game week 33. So we know at this point that there will be a blank in game week 34. Those fixtures will most probably be played in game week 33, and this is why this will most probably be the biggest double game week so far this season. The blank in game week 37 is because of the FA Cup final. It might not even be a blank. So if the teams that will play in the FA Cup final, if they're not playing in Europe, this will not be a blank game week. And if we get no blanks in game week 37, we will get no double game week in game week 36 as well. I have actually made a video on this topic. It's linked in the description down below, where I discussed a couple of chip strategies as well. So if you're interested, go check that one out. It would be really appreciated. Start Igor Thiago or Garner from Joe. So it's kind of a similar conundrum to what I have with my team, Igor Thiago or Garner. I have Igor Thiago or Elliot Anderson. I like Elliot Anderson at home better than Garner against Bournemouth. I think if you have at least 2 Arsenal defenders, I think it actually makes sense to bench Igor Thiago. The safest option is probably to just play Igor Thiago, considering his ownership. But if you want to take a bit of a punt, then just bench Igor Thiago. At least that's what I'm leaning towards at the moment. Carry 4 to 5 transfers after the wildcard in game week 31. I can set up the bench boost and then adjust the team anywhere I need. As I said, I don't think I will have all 15 players having a double game week. I think, Claudius, that your plan sounds like a good one, and have a look at a possible wildcard 31 team. Things that wildcarding in a blank game week, sometimes it's not the best idea, because you will probably have a couple of Man City, a couple of Arsenal players in your team for the rest of the season. So Wildcarding in a blank game week can potentially be a trap, but if you can find a team you're satisfied with, you will probably have one Man City, at least one Arsenal player on your bench in game week 31. Potentially a Crystal Palace player as well. So if you can put out a strong starting 11 with a couple of blankers on the bench ready for game week 32, that's probably a good idea. Ben Daniels, should I triple captain Declan Rice? I definitely think it's a good idea. I'm actually leaning towards triple captaining Declan Rice myself. So I think Gabriel will be the safest triple captain option this game week. He will have the highest effective ownership. So if you want to protect your rank, you should probably go for Gabriel. But if you want to take a bit of a punt, I think Declan Rice is equally good as Gabriel this game week. Josh, start one, Van de Ven, Lewis Hall, or Alderete. Lewis Hall, probably. Yeah, because of the attacking threat. He hasn't delivered any attacking returns in the last 3 game weeks, but we know that Lewis Hall, he can do really well on that left back. So I think considering that he is the most expensive player as well, I would probably just start Lewis Hall. It would be a bit annoying to start Alderete, have him in your starting 11 if he blanks and you have the expensive Lewis Hall on your bench. So it's not that much between Van de Ven, Hall, Alderete this game week, but I would probably go for Lewis Hall. Sunny, hi man, set my team under your post, thinking of doing O'Reilly to Munoz, Ekitike to João Pedro. Triple captain on Gabriel. What do you think of Strand Larsen? I think Strand Larsen suddenly have become a bit better, but I'm not really considering transferring him in at this point. We'll give him a bit more time. So for me, at the moment, Strand Larsen is probably a wait and see. So we'll have a look at a couple of teams. So if you're interested in having your team reviewed, post a picture under my latest post on X and we'll get it up on the screen. Just refresh this. So 8 minutes ago, Johannes, 4 minutes ago, Milo. We should probably start with the team posted first. Johannes Moyambo. Let me know in the chats if you're here. How many transfers do you have? Do you have any plans ahead of double game week 36? Thoughts on Let's Talk FPL? So do you mean his FPL team, FPL season, or the channel, or what? It seems like genuinely a really good guy. I have watched a couple of his videos. It's been a while since my last Let's Talk FPL video, but for me, he seems like a really nice guy. He's having a really good FPL season from what I've seen as well. I think he's close to top 10k at this point. Claudius, that's why it's very much fixture dependent. The players with the blank will also need good double game week pictures, but it's too difficult to tell at the moment. It's just triple Captain Holland seems to have massive upside. Setting up your team to take advantage of the double in game week 33 and triple captaining Holland is probably a good idea. Hopefully he can start scoring. Again, of course, I know he scored against Liverpool, but hopefully he can start scoring hat-tricks again. Sunny, I'm Milo. Let's just have a look at this team. It's Ruffs in goal, Keller on the bench. Not the best fixtures for the goalkeepers, but I would probably play Ruffs myself. Chalobah, Timber, Gabriel, Captain, Guehi, Semenyo, Bruno Fernandes, Rice. So it's a triple up on Man City with Guehi, Semenyo, Haaland, Calvert-Lewin is in as well, and Igor, Thiago. So what I don't really like about this team is the fact that you will have Thiago playing against your double Arsenal defense, and you will have Calvert-Lewin playing against Chalobah as well. I would actually consider selling Tavernier, probably. Maybe bringing in Elliot Anderson for Tavernier, and then just bench Calvert-Lewin or Chalobah. Play one of Chalobah, Calvert-Lewin, Tavernier to Elliot Anderson. Can potentially sell Wilson instead. I think he is probably a sell soon as well. So this is Milo's team. Probably a bit poor quality on the picture, but hopefully you can see who's in. Start Mane or Semenyo. I actually think I would start Semenyo. So even though Mane has double fixtures, Liam McKenzie, I think I would actually start Semenyo this game week. At least this is the safest option. So if you want to protect your rank, Semenyo is definitely the safest option. Mane, a bit more of a differential. So if you want to be aggressive, you can of course start Mane with the 2 fixtures as well. So this is Sonny's team. Sonny in the chat. Verbruggen in goal, Timber, Gabriel, O'Reilly in defense. So O'Reilly against Fulham. You wrote that you were considering to sell O'Reilly to Munoz and Ekitike to Pedro, triple captain on Gabriel. So is it possible to upgrade O'Reilly to Munoz and still keep Ekitike? I actually think that Ekitike is a solid option for the upcoming game weeks. He can do well against Sunderland as well. We know at this point that Xhaka, he will miss out for Sunderland once again, and they haven't really looked that great without him. So I think Ekitike is a solid option for game week 36. O'Reilly to Munoz and save the other transfer. If you need the funds to upgrade O'Reilly to Munoz, you can potentially do something like Harry Wilson to Elliot Anderson potentially. Hall to Munoz and Hall, Munoz plus Garner to Rogers. Hall to Munoz and Garner to Rogers for a -4, or Garner to Sar for a -4. Ooh. I like the upgrades from Lewis Hall to Munoz. Garner. It kind of depends on your chip strategy. So bringing in both Munoz and Sar will give you 2 extra blank game week players in blank game week 31. But if you have a plan for blank game week 31, I think I would go for Sar and Munoz. If you don't really have plans ahead, I think I would rather go for Munoz and Rodgers. So be aware that both Munoz and Sar most probably will have a blank in blank game week 3-1. Just sent my team. Thoughts about it from Joshi. Let's have a look. I don't have the funds for just Munoz, so potentially downgrading Wilson is fine at this point. O'Reilly to Munoz, Harry Wilson to can potentially bring in Elliot Anderson. Should I start Evan Nilsson or Mane? Ooh, I think I would start Mane. This game week. So even though Evan Nilsson he has looked a bit better, but playing away against Everton, it's not the easiest fixture, even though they haven't been that great recently. Evan Nilsson's form has improved a bit, but I'm kind of weak for a double game week player, so out of the two, I would probably start Mane. I'm thinking triple captain Timber. Is there minutes risk if Ben White gets subbed and Timber rests? So this is why I'm not really considering Timber. I think when it comes to expected minutes in the Arsenal defense, I think Gabriel will play close to 90 minutes in both games. Probably Saliba as well. I think Timber is next in line, but I think that he is more prone to rotation. So I think he will start both games, but he might play like 60, 70 minutes. So, of course, this is not good for the DEFCON defensive contribution appeal, only playing 60, 70, even 80 minutes. So the thing is that Timber, he actually has really good attacking threats. At least he has the best expected goal involvement numbers, but yeah, captaining Timber is not the worst idea. It is a punt. It's a bit aggressive, so I like the idea of captaining Timber, but at this point I'm actually leaning towards going for Rice instead. Should I start Evan Nilsson or Mane, or maybe a bench boost with Dubravka, Dalot, Hill, and Evan Nilsson? It's not the worst bench boost. I think, to be honest, that the bench boost is probably a bit overrated. We use a lot of transfers, a lot of planning to get the ultimate bench boost, but usually the bench boost results are a bit disappointing. And we have seen this throughout the season, right? That we can get a lot of points on the bench without even considering to use the bench boost. So I think a bench boost, Dubravka, Dalot, Hill, Evan Nilsson. At least you will have 4 starters. Dubravka will start for Burnley. Dalot looks to be nailed on for Man United. Hill is a good option as well. Evan Nilsson. I think this is close to being a good bench boost, to be honest. So not the worst game week to use the bench boost and get it out of the way. The thing is that if you use your bench boost this game week, you can use your triple captain in double game week 33. Man City will most probably have, or it's close to confirmed that Man City will have a double game week in game week 33 and could be a good differential for the triple captain. I sent my team. We'll have a look at a couple of other teams as well. This was Milov. Joshi posted his team as well. Let's have a look. This is Joshi's team. Pickford in goal. Let's see if I can get the bench in as well. Like that. Pickford in goal. We have Lewis Hall, Nico Williams, and Gabriel. Bruno Fernandes, Harry Wilson, Rice, Enzo, and Sar, Havertz, and Erling Haaland. So a couple of really nice differentials in this team. I really like Sar. Good fixture in game week 26 against Burnley. We'll play at home next week against Wolves as well. So really good fixtures for Crystal Palace. Nico Williams against Wolves. Good differential. What I don't really like is Harry Wilson against Man City. I think the time is up potentially for Harry Wilson. He will potentially score couple of extra goals this season, but I can't really see him continuing the way he did from game week 17 until game week 23. So Harry Wilson, potentially someone to consider selling. Igor Thiago benched in this team as well. It's actually a really strong team, close to being bench boost worthy. You have Sanchez on the bench, good fixture against Leeds. I think I potentially would start Sanchez, to be honest, instead of Pickford. Alderete, Van de Ven, Igor Thiago. Thiago or Krupi Jr. to start. I would be tempted to start Krupi Jr., especially if you have at least 2 Arsenal defenders. Of course, there is a risk involved in captaining in benching Igor Thiago because of the high ownership. So if he does well against Arsenal, your rank might take a hit. But I think it's safe to bench Igor Thiago this game week if you have a solid option on your bench. I'm starting Harry Wilson just because of the 5-4 scoreline which happened earlier in the season. It might be a good idea going for earlier results, but can't really see Fulham scoring 2 to 3 goals against Man City in this fixture. But of course, if you have a feeling that Harry Wilson will do well, you should definitely just start him. I like Havertz as a punt as well. You might start one of the games on the bench though, so be prepared for this. By the way, Van Hecke will start tomorrow. So are there any news about Van Hecke? The latest I read was that he had a hamstring injury and that he was at risk ahead of double game week 26 football and stuff. So said that Welbeck will most probably start for Brighton this game week, and now the news that Van Hecke most probably will start as well. So I like this team. Lewis Hall against Spurs can get attacking returns. Not sure if Newcastle will keep a clean sheet, but what I would consider with this team is actually to start Sanchez instead of Jordan Pickford. I like the team, a couple of differentials as mentioned with Havertz, Sarr. I think this team is good to go. Venga, hey bro, should I sell Jared Bowen and Thiav for Havertz and Munoz as I'm planning to captain Havertz? It's a no from Benji. Selling Jared Bowen at this point to bring in Havertz. Of course, it's tempting to bring in an extra Arsenal player, but is selling Jared Bowen the best way to make room? I'm not sure. Thiav, I think he can be sold, but can you potentially do something like Thiav to Saliba, something like that, if you have the available funds? Havertz, I just said that I like him as a differential, but I think that Havertz, he will play deeper. He's not playing up front for Arsenal at the moment, especially after seeing Gyökeres do well when he came on as a substitute in game week 25. I think Gyökeres will start up front, and if Gyökeres gets subbed off, it will be Gabriel Jesus replacing him. So hi bro, you missed my question on selling Guiu to Mane. Sorry about that. Benji, should I bring in Sadio Mane? All Liverpool winger. Should I bring in Mane for Guiu or just roll the transfer and start Harry Wilson versus City? I would be really tempted to bring in Mane for... I said this a couple of times. I'm really weak for a double game week player, and he might, of course, do something against Nottingham Forest. And if he does something against Arsenal, this would be a bonus, but good attacking stats, great expected goal involvement numbers. He passes the eye tests. I think that selling Guiu to bring in Mane probably is a good idea. Just bench Harry Wilson. Sam, I made the first time in your channel. Question: I have 3 free transfers, 1.6 in the bank. Lefebvre to Sar or Keane to or Dorgu to Munoz and bench Lefebvre. I think I probably like the defensive transfer, to be honest, because Michael Keane at some point I think he will be a rotation risk for Everton. He has started the last couple of games, but with Branthwaite coming back from injury, they already have Tarkovsky, so Michael Keane, he might be dropped. Dorgu is injured. At least by doing this, Michael Keane or Dorgu to Munoz, you will have a solid bench option in Lefebvre on your bench. Not really considering Lefebvre to be a strong option at the moment. He has looked a bit off after the Granit Xhaka injury as well, so I think just benching Lefebvre is fine. And selling, I would probably sell Dorgu because of the injury, so Dorgu to Munoz and bench Lefebvre would be my transfer with those options in mind. So thanks a lot. First time on the channel. Thanks a lot for joining in. Starting Sanchez could be quite risky looking at how Leeds are good in attack. Yeah, if you think that Everton have a better chance of keeping a clean sheet, then definitely go for Jordan Pickford. According to the bookies, Chelsea, they are slight favorites compared to Bournemouth to keep a clean sheet this game week. Trossard or Madueke already have 2 Arsenal defenders. Probably Madueke at this point. So there are some injury rumors about Madueke. No, I'm sorry, about Trossard. So probably Madueke at this point. So Trossard will share minutes with Martinelli as well. So I don't expect Madueke to start both games. But of course, the fixtures are decent. He will probably start one of the games. Came in as a sub in the other one, so definitely worth a punt at that price. But Madueke would be my preferred option at this point. We played your triple captain. My triple captain is active at the moment. Let's take another team as well. Abs. Let's see if we can get your team up. I think I probably would have to zoom in a bit. So the goalkeeper is Raya. I'm sorry. Sometimes it's a bit hard to fit the teams into the screen when there's different formats and stuff like that. Let's try something like this. So in goal, Raya, Gabriel. We have Esteve as well, Munoz, Enzo Fernandez, Semenyo, Bruno Fernandes, Rice, Garner, Ekitike, and Erling Haaland. this team is probably good to go. Triple up on Arsenal, double defense with Raya, Gabriel, Esteve against Crystal Palace. They didn't really look that threatening against Brighton on Sunday, so it might be a good differential. Munoz playing against Esteve, so hopefully it will be a 0-0. Can't really see it, but you have to play one of your defenders. So I haven't really checked who are the defenders in this. It's Anderson, Alderete. I will probably just play Esteve, to be honest. So this team, in my opinion, good to go. Should I do Garner to Rodgers for a -4 or Garner to Sar? Ooh, I would be tempted to sell Garner in this team and bring in Sar. But make sure that you have a plan for blanking game week 31 because you already have Munoz. So Arsenal, Man City, Crystal Palace, Wolves, they will most probably blank in game week 31. So as long as you're prepared for this blank game week, then selling Garner to Sar is probably a really good move this game week. So good fixture for Crystal Palace, good fixture next game week as well. So on the screen, my team is up. I have the triple captain active. It's currently on Declan Rice. Double up on the Arsenal defense with Timber and Gabriel. I have a fourth double game week player. It's Mosquera from Wolves. Hopefully he can do something this game week. Would you play Igor Thiago or Hill? Probably Igor Thiago. Thing is that Brentford, they have scored a lot of goals at home. He is nailed on, he is on penalties. The reason why I have Thiago on the bench for my team at the moment is the fact that I really like Elliot Anderson for this game week as well. So I'm leaning towards benching Igor Thiago and starting Elliot Anderson. Would I bench Igor Thiago for 3.9 defender Hill? Probably not. Wish Malhotra, thanks for joining in. Triple captain Gabriel or Timber. I think I would play it safe and go for Gabriel. You're already captaining a defender, and Timber is more of a minutes risk. The thing is that Timber, it would be really frustrating if you only started one of the games. He was yellow flagged ahead of game week 25, so he might actually be carrying a small niggle. So I think that going for Gabriel is probably the best and the safest option when we compare Gabriel and Timber. So I really like the Timber triple captaincy. I think it's really close for my team between triple captaining Gabriel or Timber, but I'm sorry, triple captaining Rice or Gabriel, but at the moment I'm leaning towards Rice. Odin, Thiav to Hill and Van Dijk to Timber, or Thiav to Timber, Jared Bowen to Strand Larsen. I think the first option. I would like to wait and see how Strand Larsen sells in. And Jared Bowen, he is actually a solid option. So Thiav to Hill, Van Dijk to Timber would be my preferred option out of those. "46 minutes left until the deadline. So I haven't made any transfers. I'm not really considering any transfers for my team. I think my team is close to good to go for double game week 26. I have kind of a strong bench with Igor Thiago on it. I usually bench Elliot Anderson. It has been a bit frustrating seeing that he pick up 4-pointers, 5-pointers even, and 7-pointer as well on the bench week in, week out. So would be really classic FPL if he actually blanks or get 1 or 2 points the game week where I actually put him in my starting 11, but I'm leaning towards this, starting Sanchez, Mosquera, Gabriel, Timber in defense, Enzo Fernandez, Rice, Rogers, Bruno, and Elliot Anderson up front. Of course, Erling Haaland against Fulham at home. I have Jared Bowen, home fixture against Man United. I have sent my team, Wish Malhotra. Nice, let's give it a watch. So if you're interested in having your team reviewed, head over to X, post a picture of your team selection, and we'll get it up on the screen. So this is Wish Malhotra's team. There we go. So the question is triple captain, Gabriel or Timber. Triple captain, Gabriel, triple captain or Timber. I think I have answered this question already, right? I think Timber is kind of a minus risk. Gabriel definitely the safest option, and he's that much safer than I think is actually better compared to Timber as well. But Timber can, of course, get attacking returns. He is one of the defenders with the highest expected goal involvement. But we know that Gabriel, he might very well get attacking returns as well. So considering the fact that Gabriel is much more likely to get bonus points and defensive contributions, I think that he is probably the best option. I don't own Elliot Anderson, so he will return from FPL Lisa. So another really typical FPL feeling. If you don't own a player like Elliot Anderson, he will always do well. So same as for my team, I've had Elliot Anderson on the bench every game week where he has actually returned points. So it will be typical if he actually blanked in game week 26. Would you sell Van Dijk and Chalobah to get Gabriel and James Hill? Ooh. The thing is that you're selling two solid options. Liverpool, they have some good fixtures coming up. Chelsea, Chalobah as well. But I think that bringing in Gabriel, it makes a lot of sense, especially seeing that you might give him the captain's armband and triple captain as well. So I'd say yes. I really like James Hill, 3.9 nailed on for Bournemouth. They have some good fixtures coming up as well. So yeah, I think actually I do this. The thing is that Gabriel's effective ownership will be really, really high this game week. So if he does well, if they keep 2 clean sheets, if he gets an attacking return, your rank will take a big hit. So bringing in Gabriel, it's a yes from me. Would you sell Tarkovsky for Munoz? Wilson to Sar for -4. Having my worst season, 730k. My plan is also to triple captain Gabriel. I like those moves, to be honest. Tarkovsky to Munoz, Harry Wilson to Sar. Is it worth a -4? I actually think so, considering the next couple of fixtures. But bear in mind that you're actually bringing in 2 players that will have a blank in game week 31. But if you have a plan for blank game week 31, I really like those moves. I plan to free hit in game week 31. Oh, sorry, didn't read this properly. I plan to free hit in game week 31. So yeah, it definitely makes sense. Bring in Munoz, Sar for those really good fixtures. Mark, should I sell Gui for -4 to Mane? Thinking this week, thinking his 2 games could claw back those 4 points and he can be used later in the year, unlike Gui. Yeah. I like actually selling Gui to Mane this game week. So you can start Mane this game week. He will most probably claw back the hits. So Mane, he will not get minus points if Wolves concede. So the most likely scenario is actually for Mane to get 4 points. So appearance points in both games against Nottingham Forest and Arsenal. So 2 points at worst in those games will give Mane 4 points. Guiu, we know that he is not a starter for Chelsea, and in most games he's not even on the pitch. So the thing with Guiu, and what I like about him, is his price is only priced at 4.2. So having him on the bench definitely lets you upgrade those extra 0.4 somewhere else. But I think given that Mane and Wolves have a double this game week, I think the transfer makes sense. Play Evan Nilsson or Jared Bowen. So Jared Bowen at home against Man United is probably what I would do. Away against Everton, not the best game, even though Everton have looked a bit worse defensively, but I would play Jared Bowen. So in the poll, Gabriel, triple captain, the favorite by far. 69% for Gabriel, only 6% for Rice, 25% saying that the triple captain should be saved. So we've seen this on X as well. There are a lot of FPL managers that will triple captain Gabriel this game week. I'm actually excited to see his effective ownership. We might have the highest expected ownership on a defender in FPL. So we have had Erling Haaland at 200% effective ownership so far this season. Not expecting Gabriel to reach those heights, but he will most probably set a new record for highest effective owned defender. Best Arsenal player after Rice, Gabriel, Timber, or Raya? Probably Gyökeres and Saliba. Any midfielder after Rice from Arsenal? I think when it comes to midfielders from Arsenal, I think that the wingers like Madueke, Trossard he has actually been injured as well, so we might see limited minutes Madueke as well, and they have Martinelli ready to step in as well. So I think those wingers will most probably only start one game. If you would like to have a midfielder from Arsenal, and if you don't or if you already have Rice, I think that Subimendi probably is the second best option from the Arsenal midfield. At least you will get close to 90 minutes. He can pick up defensive contributions. And he has actually scored a couple of goals recently as well, so Subimendi would be my preferred option after Rice. Play Calvert-Lewin or Igor Thiago. I think if you have at least a double up on the Arsenal defense, I would actually consider starting Calvert-Lewin. The thing is that if you have Chelsea defenders, if you have Sanchez, Chalobah, I would probably start Igor Thiago. So it kind of depends on your team, Ian. My team from Amt, should I use the triple captain? Sanchez in goal, Gabriel, Munoz, Timber, nice defense. Subimendi in midfield. Actually, a bit weird because I just 2 minutes ago talked about Subimendi. Haven't really seen that much talk about Subimendi, but here we have a player with Subimendi in his team. Bruno Fernandes is in, Enzo Fernandes, Mbumo, Wirtz, up front Mane, Haaland. On the bench, Dubravka, Chalobah, Senesi, Evan Nilsson. I think this team looks good to go for double game week 26. And should I use the triple captain? I think it's a really good game week to use the triple captain. I have talked about this, but for new viewers, I think that triple captain makes sense in double game week 26. The reason is that in double game week 36, it might be a bit late using the triple captain. The season might be over, wrapped up, so we might see more rotation. And one of the teams that are likely to play in double game week, a potential double game week 36, is actually Man City, and they might still be in the FA Cup and Champions League and prioritize those competitions. But ahead of double game week 26, every team has everything to play for. Arsenal, they will go for it. So using the triple captain this game week is a good idea. Would you bench boost Kelleher, Dewsbury Hall, Evan Nilsson, Hill, or triple captain Rice? I'm chasing rank. Probably triple captain Rice. I'm doing the same. Kelleher, Dewsbury Hall, Evan Nilsson. I think it's a decent bench boost, but I just talked about why I would prefer the triple captain this game week. So Rice, I think he will play close to 90 minutes both games, so he can get defensive contributions. He's on set pieces for Arsenal, taking corners from the left-hand side and some free kicks as well. So I think I would play the triple captain on Rice. Adam Chapin, hello again, mates. Thanks for joining in. I'm back. I went and got 3 Wolves for doubles and got Gabriel, but Arias is now transferred abroad. Is that John Arias? Is he sold? I think that he started to pick up some pace over at Wolves. I actually started this season with John Arias in my team after watching him in the Club World Cup for Fluminense. So took a punt on Arias, failed massively, dropped in price a couple of times before I finally got rid of him in game week 4. Play Virgil van Dijk or Chalobah. Probably Van Dijk. Leeds, they have looked threatening going forward. Sunderland, they haven't looked as good without Granit Xhaka. So probably Van Dijk for me this game week. My Palmer would have worked in the end. Ooh, yeah, I went Pedro, like we said, and done pretty well. FPL Scott, thanks for joining in. How sure are you on Verbruggen over Dubravka? I'm not sure if I would start Verbruggen over Dubravka, to be honest. For context, this is not my team. Let's see. We had this team. This is Wish Malotter's team. We had it on the screen. Gabriel, triple captain or Timber. I think I would go for Gabriel. He is the safest option this game week, so definitely makes sense to triple captain Gabriel. But this is my team at the moment. I'm starting Sanchez with Dubrauka on the bench. My triple captain is active, but it's actually not Gabriel. It's Rice. I think it's a good punt. I need to be a bit different. Chasing rank at this point, I'm 640k, so need to be a bit different as mentioned. Did Wolves actually sell John Arias? Did I actually miss the fact that they sold John Arias? Well, he's not in the game. So if anyone has any updates on this, let me know in the chat. I actually missed the transfer. I usually pay a lot of attention to transfers and stuff like that, but John Arias is actually not in the Wolves team anymore. So did he travel and go back to Brazil probably? It says transferred to Palmeiras. Yeah, that's what I thought. John Arias, should I play him? Or has he gone now for Wolves? So is he actually still in your team? If you go to the FPL page and search for John Arias, at the moment it's actually, I'm unable to find him. So Arias, John. Let's go to Wolves. This is actually news to me, to be honest. Midfielders: Gomez, Andre, Hishan, Bellegarde, Dosi, Gonzalez, Rawlings, Sutherland, and Abbey. No John Arias in the Wolves team, so definitely want to consider selling, as he will not play for Wolves anymore this season. It's a red flag. It definitely would be a red flag if he transferred to Palmeiras and he will not play anymore in the FPL game this season. So John Arias definitely want to sell, but this was actually news to me that John Arias left in the winter transfer window. If you go to the stats page under Wolves, you will see him. Just give me a minute. John Arias has made his return to Brazil, signing for Palmeiras in a permanent move. The midfielder spent 7 months as a Wolves player, turning out 26 times across all competitions and chipping in with 2 goals. Arias makes Wolves' departure. This is taken from the official Wolverhampton page, so definitely want to sell if you have John Arias in your team. Irish Pit Terrier, Van Hecken not flagged anymore. Going to start him. I was going to take a hit for Munoz. So we had a Brighton fan in the chat as well, football and stuff, saying that Van Hecke most probably will start this game week. So it's probably better to start Van Hecke against Aston Villa, especially if you don't have Rodgers, instead of taking a hit to replace him. So it's 25 minutes left until the deadline. Let's see if there are any news on X. FPL Luca considering to captain Gyökeres. I like the punt, actually, to be honest. Jed FPL, good luck, everyone. Best of luck for game week 26. So checked some of the biggest team leak and team news accounts on X. Nothing too... No news from what I've seen so far. It's 22 minutes left until the deadline. Adam Clarence, thanks for joining in. Hi, bro. Glad you captained Bruno last week. Yeah, I was really happy when he scored late on. I have double Arsenal defense and Rice. I was wondering if I should captain Rice or Timber. I have Triangle. So if it's between Rice and Timber, I would definitely go Rice. I think that Gabriel is the safest option. I think it's a really good option and will play close to 90 minutes in both games. So my vote will go to Rice. But when we take a look at the poll, Gabriel, he is the favorite. 66% have voted for triple captain Gabriel, only 8% for Rice, and 27% saying that the triple captain should be saved. So in the chat as well from Mentor Mustafa, triple captain Haaland instead of Gabriel. So of course, there is a possibility to use the triple captain in game week 33 as well. We know that Man City will most probably have a double game week in game week 33. Things that I will most probably use my bench boost this game week, as it looks to be the biggest double game week this season. Might be a potential double game week 36 as well for Man City, but I think this is probably a bit too late in the season to use the triple captain. We might see more rotation, and if Man City is one of the teams in with a double game week, they might actually save rest players for the FA Cup final and the semi-final in the Champions League. Would you start Dewsbury Hall or Semenyo? Probably Semenyo at home against Fulham. I think this is a good fixture for Man City, so Semenyo is probably the best option, definitely the safest option. If you're really, really chasing and want to be aggressive, starting Dewsbury Hall could be a decent punt, but I would say Semenyo in this one. Killian, opinions on a -4? I don't hate taking a -4, but of course it kind of depends on the transfers, of course. What about Esse? I don't really expect Esse to start both games, so I think Rice is definitely the best midfielder to own from Arsenal at the moment, and next best is probably Subimendi, considering that he is one of the players that's at least has the highest expected minutes, can pick up defensive contributions. He has chipped in with a couple of goals recently, so I think Rice is a really good option. He is actually currently my triple captain, and Subimendi is a decent punt as well. Esse, I like him as a player, but in this Arsenal team, he's not really full of confidence, and I don't really see him starting both games in double game week 26. So Gyökeres, he is actually the most transferred in player ahead of double game week 26. Harry Wilson, Igor Thiago, Saka, most sold players ahead of the next deadline. So Gyökeres, he is actually a solid punt. Will he start both games? I'm not really sure. He will at least start one game. I actually think he will start the first game. He was on the bench for game week 25, came on, did really well. So Gyökeres will probably start. Rice, Subimendi are second and third for transfers in. Arsenal, they are definitely the favorites. 72% chance, as you can see on the right-hand side. Top 3 clean sheet odds. This is taken from the bookies. Arsenal, 71% chance. I'm sorry, 72% chance of keeping at least one clean sheet in double game week 26. So after Arsenal, let's see, we have Crystal Palace at home against Burnley, 46%, and Man City at home against Fulham with 43% chance of a clean sheet. So bringing in Munoz, I think it's a really good transfer. I have got a couple of questions about Munoz. Bringing in Munoz, I like Sar as well. Bringing in both of them, I think it's a risk involved if you don't have a plan for blank game week 31. But if you have a plan for the blank game week, I think both Sar and Munoz are really good options. So my plan at the moment is to just use my transfers all the way until game week 31. I will set up a solid game week, blank game week 31 team. I will sell my Arsenal, at least a couple of my Arsenal players, and use my wildcard in game week 32 to get them back. Then I will use my bench boost for the biggest double game week this season in double game week 33. There will be a blank. Can potentially use my free hit in blank game week 34, but this kind of depends on which teams will have a blank. The reason why double game week 33 will be the biggest double game week this season is the fact that we already know that Man City and Crystal Palace will probably already play twice, and all of the teams reaching the FA Cup semi-final in game week 34, or this FA Cup semi-final will be played in game week 34. So if those teams in the semi-final are still competing in Europe, it will be a blank game week 34. The easiest way to reschedule these fixtures are to move them ahead and play them in double game week 33. So my chip strategy at the moment is to use my triple captain in double game week 26, use my transfers to have a solid team for blank game week 31, wildcard in game week 32, and set up a good bench boost for game week 33, and I will reassess on which game week will be the best for me to use my free hit. We might get a double game week in double game week 36, but this is really relying on which teams will advance in the FA Cup and the European competitions. So if the team reaching the FA Cup final also still are in one of the European Cups, we will have a blank in game week 37. This fixture will have to be moved and played in double game week 36, as we will not have a double in the last game week of the season in game week 38. I have made a video where I explain my chip strategy and which teams are most likely to have a blank double and at what game week. So if you're interested in watching this video, it's linked in the description down below. BNT Pumpkin, we have the same attack in midfield. Nice. Are you also triple captain Rice? How are you planning on getting Mbumo and Wirtz after 28? I have looked at some options to bring in Wirtz. I think I will do something like Rodgers out. I can potentially downgrade one of my players on the bench as well, going dirt cheap to have some more funds available. So Rodgers will probably leave my team soon, and the same goes for Enzo Fernandez, especially if Cole Palmer is back and if he looks likely to play close to 90 minutes going forward. I think this kind of dents Enzo Fernandez appeal a bit, so I will pay close attention to Chelsea and how they line up going forward and monitor the fitness of Cole Palmer. So Rodgers might be sold, Enzo Fernandez might be sold, so Rodgers, Enzo Fernandez to Mbumo Wirtz could be something I potentially will do around game week 28. No, triple captain Gabriel. Nice. I have said this a couple of times, but I think that Gabriel is a really good option as well. He is the safest option, as he will have the highest effective ownership out of the two. So Timber, Gabriel, Rice for me, triple captain on Rice. I actually have Igor Thiago on the bench, starting Elliot Anderson ahead of him this game week. Should I start Mane or Chalobah? Well, considering that Leeds, they have looked a bit threatening recently, I think I actually would take a punt and start Mane. Double game week, of course, not the best fixture in the second game against Arsenal, but I think I would just bench Chalobah and start Mane, considering that he has a double. I will take a -4 in game week 28 to downgrade Jared Bowen, upgrade Rodgers to Mbumo, and so to I will possibly look at something similar. So we might actually we have the same midfield and attacking duo at this point, and we might actually have something similar in game week 28 as well. I have looked at a plan to bring in a couple of Liverpool players. I'm actually a bit tempted by Crystal Palace as well, but my plan is to use my transfers to navigate blank game week 31. I will not use my free hit in blank game week 31, so I have to be a bit patient, and I can't load up on Crystal Palace, Man City, Wolves, Arsenal. At some point, I need to sell Arsenal players. I need to have a solid team for blank game week 3-1. And at this point, as mentioned, we know that Arsenal, Wolves, and most probably Man City and Crystal Palace will not have a fixture in game week 3-1. Why are you thinking Rice triple? The thing is that I think it's really close between Gabriel and Rice. Rice, he has a lot of routes to points as well. On set pieces for Arsenal, can pick up defensive contributions. He will get that extra points if they keep a clean sheet as well. So I think that Rice is a really solid option. One of the reasons why I will go for Rice is the fact that I think it's a bit more aggressive. I think captaining Gabriel is the safest, most template way to go in double game week 26, but I'm ranked at 640k at this point, not really satisfied with my rank, so I'm willing to take a punt this game week and triple captaining Rice. I think this is a calculated risk. The thing is that if I'm not triple captaining Gabriel, I'm kind of banking on at least Brentford scoring a goal against Arsenal. So it doesn't really make sense for me to have Igor Thiago on the bench and not triple captaining Gabriel, right? Agreed, I'm debating between the two also. I'm probably going to save the triple, but might change to Rice to play the ranks. I actually just got an epiphany when it comes to my two decisions this game week. I'm not really sure why I haven't thought about this earlier. It's 8 minutes until the deadline at this point. So I had a Q&A yesterday as well. Decided to go for Rice. I took the triple captain away from Gabriel, put it on Rice. I can't really change back to Gabriel at this point. I need to just stick with my guns and go for Rice, right? Da blir det Rice. Stå på videre, jeg skal følge deg videre. So I think that benching Igor Thiago, I'm kind of saying that Arsenal will keep a clean sheet against Brentford this game week. I'm playing Elliot Anderson. I have been so secure about my decisions for like 2 days, and now it's 7 minutes until the deadline, and I'm starting to have second thoughts. Would you bench Enzo or Mane? I would probably start Enzo Fernandez ahead of Mane, even though he has a double game week, to be honest. I think it's that Cole Palmer, he will probably not play 90 minutes. We saw this in game week 25. He scored a hat-trick, but he only played, was it like 65 minutes? So when Cole Palmer is not on the pitch, Enzo Fernandez is the first choice penalty taker. So of course it's tempting to go for the double game week player, but I think I would actually start Enzo Fernandez. 6 minutes left until the deadline. I have Elliot Anderson in my starting 11. Igor Thiago is on the bench. Triple captain on Rice. Hopefully this is the right decision. Captain Raya, Saliba, or Subi, or Holland. Probably Saliba this game week. given an extra Arsenal player. I think that if you don't have enough Arsenal cover this game week, your rank might take a big hit. So for me, I have at least Gabriel and Timber. This is probably not enough. So if Arsenal keep 2 clean sheets, I will probably lose rank because of the clean sheets. But hopefully the triple captain on Rice can make up for this decision. So I will get an extra clean sheet point for Rice as well, and hopefully he can get an attacking return in one of those games. So he's on free kicks, taking the corners from the left-hand side. So hopefully this is a good game week for Rice. But out of those, Raya, Saliba, or Subi, or Erling Haaland, probably Saliba for me. He don't have the same attacking threat as Gabriel, but at least he's in the box for the corners, so we might get something. Raya, you're kind of relying on save points from Raya and clean sheets, so I think Saliba is a bit more explosive compared to Raya in this double game week. So if the fixtures were even tougher, Raya would probably be a better captain option, but against Brentford, against Wolves away, Arsenal, they have actually been pretty solid playing away from home, so my preferred option would probably be Saliba, to be honest. It's 4 minutes left until the deadline. It's time to, if you have decided on a couple of transfers, it's time to lock in your team at this point. I will just refresh the page to double check that my team is locked in. Oops. Quick update on X as well. Lazy FPL, they were the one dropping the news about Erling Haaland and Phil Foden being benched in, what's this, game week 24, right? Or 23, can't really remember. Something going on with X, or it's probably my Wi-Fi. It's taking hours to load the pages. Let's see. No new updates or retweets from Lazy FPL. They are usually pretty quick. Oh, I just got signed out of FPL. Make sure to log in and do your planned transfers. The FPL page is actually having some hiccups at the moment. Still have 3 minutes. Make sure to lock in your team. I just changed Rice back to Gabriel. I'm thinking every time they have a corner, Gabriel will head in. I think that if Gabriel scores from a corner, there's a 50% chance that Rice actually will get the assists. Enzo, Pedro, or Watkins, who should I bench out of them? Oh, Enzo Fernandez, Joao Pedro, Watkins. Probably Watkins. Chelsea playing at home against Leeds might be goals in this game. So I would actually consider, if you have a couple of other decent options on your bench, probably consider the bench boost. Can't wait for United to host West Ham and get the 5th in a row. I think this actually will happen, that this viral Man United guy will finally get his haircut. I meant Rodgers. Okay, so it's Enzo Fernandez. Rodgers, he has looked good recently. Benching Rodgers, I think it's a good fixture for him against Brighton. I discussed this yesterday as well. They have looked vulnerable from his position playing as a number 10. Ooh, it's a bit closer for me, to be honest. Enzo Fernandez should probably start. Will take penalties when Cole Palmer is not on the pitch. Probably Joe Pedro, but it's a big risk though. He's heavily owned, but Rodgers has high ownership as well. So, ooh, do we really have to bench one of those guys? Enzo Fernandez, Rodgers, or Rodgers? Enzo Fernandez, Joe Pedro, or Rodgers? Probably bench Joe Pedro. Enzo Fernandez, Rodgers, they will get extra point for a goal, and they will get a point if they keep a clean sheet as well. So play the midfielders, bench the forward. Hopefully you got this decision right. The deadline is really, really close. It's only seconds away. No transfers made for me this game week. Save the transfer. I will have 3 free transfers heading into game week 27. So the team on the screen is my team. It's locked in. Sanchez at home against Leeds. All of my defenders have a double game week. So it's Gabriel, it's Timber, and it's Mosquera. In midfield, Enzo Fernandez, triple captain Rice, taking a risk, going a bit differential with my triple captain, hoping that Rice can deliver. Rodgers, Bruno Fernandes, and Elliot Anderson. Erling Haaland and Jared Bowen up front. So I took a couple of risks this game week. Could have played it safe. I could have triple captain Gabriel. I could have started Igor Thiago instead of Elliot Anderson, but I went for the lowest owned team that I possibly could have. So started Elliot Anderson, benched Igor Thiago, and triple captained Rice. Matthias, thanks for joining in. Play Kelleher or Dubravka. Probably Dubravka, but I think you're a bit too late. The deadline is actually past this. Or are you actually starting to prepare for game week 27? I just thought save triple for later, then refresh to see if it changed, and it says updating. So I don't even know whether I'm using my triple captain. Ooh, I've done something similar actually a couple of seasons ago. FPL page crashed. I was like activating my triple captain, at least trying to activate it, but I wasn't really sure until the game had refreshed if I were playing my triple captain or not. Will be really interesting. It will be really interesting to see if Adam plays his triple captain or not, and how this turns out. It would be a bit annoying if you like considered to play. So which players did you consider playing the triple captain on? It's probably up in the chat. I just changed back to Rice and then back to Gabriel. So it's Gabriel, triple captain. It would be a bit annoying if Gabriel gets 20 points in double game week 26, of course. If it's meant to be, it's meant to be. Yeah. Nice attitude. So if you're not sure if you played your triple captain, and if you played your triple captain, you're not sure on which players you did play the triple captain. Haaland in game week 33. Yeah, I think Haaland in game week 33 is a really good option as well. I think that it's not confirmed, but it will take a lot for Man City not to double in game week 33. So yeah, I think this is a good plan as well. The reason why I went for the triple captain this game week is actually the fact that in my cheap strategy, I have a plan to bench boost in double game week 33. Ooh, triple captain Rice. Yeah, went for the punt. Gabriel, the safest option. Rice, I think that he is a really good option as well. So hoping that he can outscore Gabriel this game week. Haaland versus Burnley, the best triple. Yeah, you have the bench boost. Yeah, I still haven't used my second bench boost. So the plan for me is to actually use my transfers and navigate blank game week 31. I will play my wildcard in game week 32 and then bench boost in game week 33. So I have actually made a video about my chip strategy and the predicted blanks and doubles. So if you're interested, the link is in the description down below. That would be really, really appreciated if you gave that one a watch. And if you haven't done so, please consider subscribing to the channel. I have deadline streams like this, and I have Q&As the night before the deadline as well. It's usually on Friday night, obviously, because the deadline is normally on a Saturday. So if you're interested in weekly FPL discussion like this, subscribe to the channel. So I post team selection videos as well. I post videos about wildcards, free hits, and stuff like that. So if you're interested in this kind of FPL content, subscribe to the channel. It's always an interesting deadline stream on here. Love it. Thanks a lot for saying that. It was kind of a quiet game week for me. I didn't really consider any transfers this game week. I have actually planned for this double game week a couple of weeks ago. So I already had a triple Arsenal. I already had Mosquera in. So I knew that if Man City and Arsenal would play against each other in the EFL Cup final, my team would be decent for double game week 26. It would have been a different story if Chelsea won and if they were the team that would play in the EFL Cup final. But Arsenal, they won this fixture. Man City, they beat Newcastle. So all went down to plan for me. So this is why I had the possibility to save a transfer this game week. Irish Peter, cheers, pal. Thanks for joining in. Thanks all for joining in. Really, really appreciate it. Which is the best replacement for Rice going forward? Semenyo, Wirtz, or Mbumo? I think it's probably between Wirtz and Mbumo. Semenyo is a decent option as well, considering that he cannot participate in the Champions League. But I really like Wirtz. He has looked really threatening recently, and Liverpool, they have some solid fixtures, and more importantly, they also have a game in blank game week 31. Bringing in Semenyo for Rice. I will definitely not do this. I need to transfer out Arsenal Man City players to bring in players that actually has a fixture in game week 31. So my transfer at some point will probably be something like Enzo Fernandez, Rogers, Rice to bring in the likes of Mbumo and possibly Wirtz as well. I have Sa, the Wolves goalkeeper, save bonuses. It could be a good week. We have seen this earlier, that double game weeks with tough fixtures can potentially be a really good game week for the goalkeepers. So best of luck with Sa. He can potentially keep a clean sheet in the first game as well, but I don't really expect much against Arsenal. So thanks all for joining in. Best of luck for double game week 26. Hopefully you enjoyed this stream. If you did, please consider subscribing to the channel. Next stream will be next week, probably ahead of the game week 27 deadline. I will have 3 free transfers. We'll probably use at least one of them. Haven't really decided on my moves just yet. Let's wait and see what happens in double game week 26.